Alright, so this is my first video for the critique series. Primary political issue is Muslim immigrants. Primary pundits being critiqued is the Morning Joe hosts. The title to this video is Why Muslim Ban Would Cripple Immigration. I thought a good Breitbart title to combat this one would be Why a Radical Muslim Would Cripple My Legs. A description for this video, MSNBC's Ari Melber joins Morning Joe to discuss a new report on Donald Trump's proposed Muslim ban, why it is virtually impossible to implement and would cripple the current immigration system. And this video was published August 3rd, 2016.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on. We must immediately suspend immigration from any nation that has been compromised by terrorism until such time as proven vetting mechanisms have been put in place. We don't want them in our country.
Yeah, fuck those radical terrorists. Wait, I'm a racist for saying that? His goal with the ban is to keep terrorists out, right? Trump seeks to maintain white national identity.
I actually don't think it's a
When did you say
in
that?
fact, you could say it's an expansion. I'm looking now at territories. People were so upset when I used the word Muslim. Oh, you can't use the word Muslim. Remember this. And I'm okay with that because I'm talking territory instead of Muslim. But just remember this. Our Constitution is great.
Remember that.
Wow, this is appalling. They didn't even try to make this look like it was Trump's final point here. I mean, how is this bitch gonna grunt and roll her eyes when this clip is clearly taken out of context? They obviously cut the clip to make Trump look like an idiot. I'll tell you why they did it. It's because in August 2016, which is the day this video was posted, not a soul at MSNBC thought it would be a big deal. But small dishonest bullshit like this accumulated up over time and fucked up their credibility quite a bit.
Donald Trump's proposed ban on Muslims entering the U.S. has seen many incarnations on his road from candidate to nominee, and it's been back in the spotlight this week with his war of words with the Gold Star family, the Khans. The ban is popular with his base, but how would it actually work? And what would it cost? If it's a serious policy proposal brought by the Republican nominee for president, Americans should know more about it. So joining us now, we have MSNBC chief legal correspondent Ari Melber, author and New York Times columnist.
Shit, this is some kind of edit, isn't it? These fucking 4chan basement dwellers can crop about anything in. But I have to admit, that troll doll on the right is hell of a funny character to put into frame. Oh, he's actually there? He's also a very successful author and newspaper columnist? Oh, shit. Okay, well, he looks funny, so props to his success even more.
Now an NBC News contributor, Anand Giridharadas, and CNBC's Brian Sullivan.
You said his name correctly. That's great.
I know, well.
He can't even say it.
He was 2 words away from flat out ruining his career.
That Brian Sullivan thing is tough.
What's so hard about Sullivan? I can't
Big props to Brian for playing along.
say it right. Ari, so you actually spoke with over 20 Homeland Security experts about Trump's proposal. How would it work?
Yeah, there's been questions about whether this is legal and whether it's a good idea. We dug in because he is the major party nominee here on what it would actually take. We can put up some of the quotes we got talking to people who were ICE, DHS, Border Security. They say it's impractical, unworkable, impossible, not doable.
I would like to give a quick shout out to the words that didn't quite make the cut. Unfeasible, non-viable, unrealizable, inconceivable, and finally, I don't think it's not doable. It's a hard choice.
Anybody tell you that could be done?
Some people looked at the price estimate, and I can show you that. 189 million entries to the U.S. a year that are non-immigrant entries. So if you take that and you say, actually, you want to patrol and vet those people for their beliefs, for their religion, You have to start looking at what the top Muslim nations are. We can put those up: Indonesia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Of the top 10 Muslim nations, only one has religion on a passport, which means you'd have to personally vet these people.
Okay, so take a good look at this map right here. You looking? Okay. Now look at this map that I found that was published in January of 2017 by a Washington Post article titled "Why Trump's Latest Travel Ban Included These 8 Countries," which are all of the countries he banned. Alright, here it is right here. Alright, so Indonesia, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, and Nigeria were all on MSNBC's listings here, are all exempt from Trump's most recent list. Alright, so Yemen, Syria, Libya, and Chad, Yemen, that's what I meant, are all in the updated list, but are not on this MSNBC map. Hilarious.
That's what Trump said. You'd have to ask them. You start by asking their religion.
You'd have to ask them. You'd have to decide whether they were telling the truth, and then you'd have to track it. I mean, John Sampson, a former ICE official we spoke to, again, these are people who do border security for a living, said, "What are you going to do here? Tattoo the crescent on those who are Muslim? Are you nuts?" And we heard that again and again from people who basically said, this isn't workable. Now, you ask, what if you wanted to do it? Well, we at Ballpark right now, we spend about $21.5 billion on immigration enforcement. We were told by officials it would take multiples of that, maybe 3 times, 60 billion, maybe 5 times, up to 100 billion, just to set up the kind of global vetting system to look at people's beliefs.
See, now I like when people provide facts like these. I want to hear a good debate over the cost, but it's rare to hear pundits talk about it. Ari's my hero for doing this. Ari might just steal Joe's girl if Joe keeps up with his shenanigans. Too much? I don't know.
It's just, come on.
So, obviously...
I don't think Joe's gotten over his fuck up from earlier.
Can I jump in on this for a second?
Yeah,
One thing,
please.
I've traveled extensively in the Middle East, and the one thing I think Americans have to realize that I don't even like to use the term Muslim because they're so different. I mean, it's saying Christian, but there's all this different types of Christianity in the Muslim world too. You've got, I mean, if you go to Kuwait or if you go to Dubai or if you go to Saudi Arabia, they're exceptionally different people with different beliefs. They're Shia, Sunni, Shiite, and various breakdowns. So even just saying Muslim is sort of saying, what part? What are you talking about? It's so unspecific as to, I think, be just dumb.
Takes me back.
Last year, I went to Iraq. Before Team America showed up, it was a happy place. They had flowery meadows and rainbow skies and rivers made of chocolate where the children danced and laughed and played with gumdrop smiles.
Again, unworkable. So, Annan, I'm curious, what do you think about the impact the cons have had? If Donald Trump and his Muslim ban has shattered America's reputation among many Muslims across the world, what's the last week of the cons becoming American heroes done?
I think it's a historic moment in a way that will take time to appreciate, because from the founding of this country, white men were the only people at the beginning considered full Americans. And our history has been the slow, steady expansion of the circle of Americanness to include women and people of color and African Americans, and we're not there yet.
Wait. Back up for a second. Can you please explain to me how women and people of color are not in the apple pie in 2018?
And when the cons versus Trump kind of drama has come to the surface, it's really a test of 2 different theories of what's an American. And Donald Trump is now doubling down on a theory of American as small.
Small what? Hands?
But it is Donald Trump who has been on the defensive. It is Donald Trump who has been bashed. It is the cons who have been embraced by Democrats, Republicans, independents.
And I think he
alike.
gambled on the idea, the old idea of American as whiteness as something that still had power in it. And the amazing, and he got here by impugning Barack Obama's Americanness and by impugning Hillary Clinton's Americanness. And the amazing thing is, he is now, beyond any shadow of a doubt, the un-American candidate.
I feel like he's trying to say something revolutionary here, but it doesn't hit me like I feel it should. I guess I'm too white.
Well, I don't know that he's American or not.
Okay, good. Ari doesn't know what Indian Jimmy Neutron is talking about either. Oh, okay, look. Before anybody gets bent out of shape for me making fun of this Anand dude, this dude is a Harvard graduate, has a smoking hot wife, and has published 2 books. He could shave his nutsack and glue it on his face and he would still have those 3 things. So I don't think he really gives a shit.
I just think that he wanted to run a campaign talking
about
Muslims, and now he is in a fight talking to Muslims. And it turns out that's a lot harder because, as everyone knows, Muslim Americans are just like any other American.
By the way, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of Muslim Americans actually voted Republican. I was talking to a Republican last night who said these are natural. They're
Absolutely.
1% of the population, 10% of the doctors, entrepreneurs, hard workers, conservative. This is our base.
Don't go full Sean Penn, Joe. Your wife will leave if you go full Sean Penn. She's not even trying to hide her disappointment on national television.
What did Khan say? Khan didn't just say, oh, I don't like you or I disagree with you, Donald Trump. He just said, you have a policy that would have kept my son out of America, my son who fought for America. And that goes to one other point I want to flag.
My son who died for America.
Who died for America. In our reporting, we can show up here $131 billion in annual trade just with the top 4 Muslim trading partners. $84 billion we have in European trading partners, and another $18 billion from Muslim tourists who come to this country. Those are all the same costs. So to have Khan get up there and basically say, your policy would stop us from making America great, not again just making America great, that's why it resonates.
And that was too close to the Trump motto. But look at all that fucking money. Jesus Lord. The money lost with this could build a wall between the U.S. and Canadian border.
And here's the remarkable thing. It's been short-sighted on Trump from the very beginning. Yes, the Muslim ban played well in the Republican primary. But you can go back, and we were talking about this yesterday, you can go back, you can look at, I think it was a Pew poll I saw right after he did it. Popular among Republicans, but only 33% of Americans overall supported it, and something like 65% opposed it. This has been a bad idea from the beginning.
I mean, he's right on the money. Assuming it's fluctuated a little since he gave these statistics, it looks like 38% of Americans approve the Muslim ban and 59% disapprove it as of now, March 2018.
America
From
has
the beginning.
changed. Our apple pie is a lot more colorful than it used to be, and he didn't get that, and he doubled down on the wrong apple pie, and I think, hopefully, this country will see the better of it.
His professors at Harvard must have used a lot of apple pie metaphors.
It makes you think sort of about, you ever been to Manzanar and the internment camps for the Japanese? I grew up in California, and kind of makes you think about that era where there was just overwhelming fear. And we were putting people that were born in the United States to Japanese parents into internment camps. I mean, people that were literally born in the United States but had a last name that was Japanese, and they were sent off to these internment camps. And you think about sort of this broad idea. What if a country said we're going to ban Americans?
Right.
What does that mean to be American, right? I mean, my dad was in the Navy for 9 years.
This is a referendum on what does it mean to be an American.
I see where Brian is coming from, but he's not conveying his point very well, in my opinion. I think he's trying to find the answer to a deep psychological question about patriotism, but he's attempting to do it on national TV when there's 1 minute left.
And right now, I think the people are speaking.
I know. It is kind of beautiful what's happening.
In a strange way, it is actually beautiful.
Ooh, this was pre-Trump elect.
All right, Melba, thank you very much.
That's what people say about Brian Sullivan, actually.
I knew Joe would get his name right eventually.
His report at NBCNews.com. Anand, thank you as well. Brian Sullivan, stay with us. We're going to dive into the fear hitting the markets and the good coming out of that, if any. And Morning Joe's back in a moment.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone except Micah and Joe are just laughing their asses off. So my response to all this, overall, I agree with Morning Joe. From my research conducted so far, there isn't enough evidence of radical terrorism in America to back up the cost of everything. According to one PolitiFact article I read a few days ago, the vetting process is already pretty strenuous to begin with. I still want to hear a good debate over the Sharia law controversy and the 164 jihad verses in the Quran. Anyways, that's about all I have to say. This is my 96 critique. If you want to view the previous 95, it's in the description below in Gracity. Anyways, thanks for watching and peace.